sun, don't wanna thunder. Fire, fire, take them all away. Any man we put us on the high. Fire, fire, take them all away. Everything I double, double. See, I get assurance. You get endurance. Anything for you, my account in balance. See, I get this mission, transmission, vision. And if you tell the police, oh, them go see confusion. If I don't marry you, now if you say I need grace, tell your mother, tell your father, make me relate. Only go follow you. Blessings stay on the way. Any man will put us on the one at thunder. Fire, fire, take them all away. Any man will put us on the high. Fire, fire, take them all away. Everything is double, double. Check. Are you go? I dey pray today. With something go carry you come my way. Come on, quick. I just want to go. I can wear you one on one. Salmon quick. You will never forget you. I'm gonna get cassette you. Ask your best to generate you. But you're still the best. If I don't marry you, now if you say I need grace, tell your mother, tell your father, make me relate. Only go follow you. Blessings stay on the way. Any man will put us on the one at thunder. Fire, fire, take them all away. Any man will put us on the high. Fire, fire, take them all away. Everything is double, double. Fami more, baby. Give me love, you mama shame you. If you go, baby, don't go to you. If you leave, baby, don't go to you. If you give me love, I don't go give another lie. If you give me kiss, I don't go give another rara. If you let me touch, I don't go to another lie. If you let me make my love go, make my another rara. If you give me love, no go let your heart shatter. If you give me love, no go let our home scatter. If you give me love, baby, why my God gather? If you give me love, oh, I feel good, if I don't marry you, now if you say I need grace, tell your mother, tell your father, make me relate. Only go follow you. Blessings stay on the way. Any man will put us on the one at thunder. Fire, fire, take them all away. Any man will put us on the high. Fire, fire, take them all away. Everything is double, double. What the magic, on your way to Toronto, oh, I see. Wow. If I no marry you, now they say I decrease. Yes. Woo. Wow. Start tagging and tagging. Let's see what the family members are saying. Yes. Going in our mind or absolutely nothing. And I agree. Chichi Fidel is saying share. Susie said very, very good. Chichi said, Chibwe said also, Juan Carlos said, yeah. And quick, Zitis is sending love and hugs. And let's see, Blessing said nice one. And finally, Khadija said, we welcome the amazing IOM family to tonight's talk show. Please don't forget to share on all your social media handles. Make sure you keep engaging. Fantastic.
And on that note, I will say good evening to all our family members. Good evening, good evening. Tonight we are going to wrap up. It's going to be a wrap up section of our divorce, good or bad, part 5. Yes. And last week or 2 weeks ago, we heard from barrister, princess, human rights activist, frontline responder, FIDA, FEMA, every one of it, Princess Ngozi Anyanwu. We also last week heard from her children, two of her adult children, that is Onyinye and Isioma. Tonight, we are going to be listening to our human rights activists, Madam Hope, Madam Marjory, and our barrister in the house, Barrister Godfrey. They will be analyzing the issue or incident as painted or stated by our princess. They are going to tell us their own opinion on what they think. And also, tonight, you will be hearing NurseAngel's opinion on the votes, whether it's good or bad. I remain your one and only host, NurseAngel. I want the family, you can engage. You can engage with us. Call us. Call the number when we start. I'll tell you when to call. Call and ask our speakers any question of your choice. Before I start, I would like to ask the speakers, as usual, to introduce themselves, at least for you to know that they are here live and direct. So I'll start with our honorable barrister in the house. Barrister, can you please unmute and greet the audience, please? Barrister.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I hope tonight's session will be quite interesting and engaging. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And Madam Marjory, you're next in line. Can you please greet the family members?
Good evening, family members. Welcome to tonight's edition of In Our Minds. We all know that our destiny is in our hands, so let's do justice to this episode. Welcome, Hope. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Princess.
Fantastic.
And
thank you very much. And our IOM, Madam Hope, can you please greet the family members? You're muted. Okay, while we wait for Madam Hope to greet, Princess Barrister Ngozi Anyanwu.
Hello, I'm here.
Okay, fantastic.
I'm sorry. A call was coming in that blocked.
Okay.
I couldn't. So sorry about that. Good evening. In our minds, family, I remain your only IOM, Madam Hope.
Yes.
And I'm here tonight, and we believe that we are going to do justice to this topic for once and for all today. Stay put.
Fantastic. That is amazing. And finally, can we hear from our barrister, Princess Ngozi? Can you salute the family members?
Good evening, IOM family. I'm glad to be here once again in your midst. And I believe today is going to be impactful. God bless you.
Yes, and I agree. So I'll quickly say this before we start. Family, I want to say to you that tonight, we are going to talk about divorce, good or bad. But before we do that, I want to share a bit of a statistics to the family members. According to United Nations, Office of Drug and Crime. Do you know that every 11 minutes, family, every 11 minutes, a woman or a girl is killed by someone in her own family? Please, this is very important. I want both mommies and daddies, brothers and sisters, relations, anyone, everybody. In fact, I want all human beings watching tonight to listen. This is very important. Before we talk about whether divorce is good or bad, according to United Nations Office of Drug and Crime, every 11 minutes, a girl or a woman is killed by someone in her own family. Family members. This means that by the end of this our 2-hour talk show tonight, a minimum of 10 female, whether girl or woman, will die. What? Yes. I want to repeat. Every 11, I want you to hear this. They will say, it's okay, we've heard. Continue. No. I will say it loud and clear. And I want you to get this message. Very important. Some people will say, oh, God hates divorce. God, just listen to this message. And I want you to listen attentively. Every 11 minutes, a woman or a girl is killed by someone in her own family. Every 11 minutes. And if we are to agree with this United Nations statistics, what does that mean? By the end of our tonight's talk show of 2 hours, at least 10, minimum is 10.9, but let's say 10 girls or women will die in the hands of their family member. I repeat, 10 girls, minimum of 10 girls will die before 2 hours lapses in the hands of their family member. Sad. Again, family, according to World Health Organization, 1 in every 3 women worldwide have been subjected to either physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. Who does this? By their intimate or non-intimate sexual partner. I repeat, according to World Health Organization, 1 in 3 girls, so 1 to the 3rd girl, will be subjected to physical or sexual abuse. 1 to the 3rd girl will be subjected to physical or sexual abuse. By whom? Either her intimate partner or non-intimate partner. Now, we are talking about worldwide. Let's come back home to our lovely country, Nigeria. About 79.4% intimate partner violence has been reported. This is the recorded one, so a lot of them go under the carpet too, but the reported ones are 79.4%. However, family members, Nigerian Demographic and Health Survey put it down to 33.8%. Nonetheless, it's still very high. That 33 point, which is again 1 in 3 or 4, 1 in 2 or 3 girls suffer physical or sexual abuse from intimate partner or non-intimate partner. So if we are to go by this report, of 79%, not the one by the NDHS. If we are to go by the report of 79%, what does that mean? Almost what if we are to say 79 point something percent of every woman have been abused. That means one in less than two, meaning four women. If you have five women standing, one, two, three, four have been abused in Nigeria, according to the report. I repeat, if you have five women standing, count how many are we? How many are we? If you have five, four of the five have been abused in the hands of their partner. All right. So now, that does not mean that men are discounted. No. We also need to support our men because intimate partner violence, or rather, I will put it, intimate partner murder. Check it, Google and search. Intimate partner murder, as in killing, is 58% women and 42% men have died as a result of intimate partner murder worldwide. All right, I have to stop at this stage because before I stop, I want to say that this also has led to mental health abuse because about 30 to 60% of women suffering mental health problem have experienced domestic violence. And look, you see, um, when we talk about domestic violence, it's not about the physical or the rape and beating, torturing. They also suffer something called mental health illness. And about 30 to 60% women, and also 15 to 25% men who have experienced domestic violence. I'm talking about men now. 15 to 25, yes, is fewer than women, absolutely. Obviously, they suffer domestic violence. And what are these domestic violence? Depression. A lot of people say, oh, I'm suffering depression. Check out anxiety disorder. Background noise. They say there's a background noise. Is there a background noise? Is there a background? I hope it has stopped. Please let me know if there is a background noise. Yeah, it is cracking in the background. Okay, so sorry about my enemies. After, is there a background noise? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's getting worse.
Hi, you see, my enemies are at it, according to they will say it's your enemy. Is it okay or still worse? God,
It's still worse.
wow. Oh, oh, wahala nobody. See, they don't want to give me the statistics. How is it now? Is it okay?
It's still there.
Oh dear me. Look. It's good now. Okay. Is it good now?
It's still there.
No, they say it's good now. Take it that it's good. Is it okay now? They say yes. Yes. They say yes.
Volume has gone down.
It has stopped. That's fine. If it's happening, let me know. It's bad. Goodness, you can't call me. You can't call me and have me. Oh, all right. See, I will be disconnecting our enemies. Oh, they don't want us to finish this. Let me see. It's good now. Fantastic. It's okay. Yes! Yes! Devil is a liar according to our Nigerian brothers and sisters. But I don't know what happened. Maybe technical issue. So sorry about that. It's technical issue. Let me see. Is it okay now? Let me know
Your volume has gone low.
That's fine. It's okay now. All right. It's okay now. Volume is low. What what's happening? Let me see. Sorry about this. This statistics don't look okay. What's happening?
It's okay, I can hear everything clearly.
Yeah, because you are here at the backstage, so you're hearing me directly. For the people in the CBC place, I can't pick up phone. Just drop message in the Telegram. Sorry for the sounds. Hello. I hope I'm not part of that. Yeah. The volume is still low. Okay, let me. I think. All right. So let me just check my thing. Tonight, we are going to dig it up. We conclude tonight. This is okay. All right. Okay. So we can't hear. The volume is low. Okay, let me take away my. Sorry about that. If you can hear me. Um. Oh dear me. Okay. So I think you can hear me now. Fine.
Yes.
Yes or no? No. Yes. Fantastic.
Yes.
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 So
Yes.
fantastic. I've muted. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So I have done the best I can. Oh dear me. So sorry about that. The family really want to hear what I'm saying. What happened? I have been disconnected from. Let me join. Yes. Apologies, guys. Apologies. Um, are we happy? It's very okay now. Fantastic. Fantastic. So, is it loud enough? It's good. Yes, it's good. It's fine. Fantastic. So in ending, I think a lot is happening at the backstage. Yeah. So in summary, a lot of atrocities. Fantastic. A lot of atrocities happen in our homes. A lot of atrocities happen in our homes. Children are raped. There are impacts on children that suffer domestic violence. Number one, that's good. Children are raped. Children think that domestic violence is the norm of the day. Children, sorry, I'm looking at this. Thank you. Stop cut and testing me. So they think it is the order of the day. Children in the check. Sometimes they don't speak out. Check. I say check. If you have been abused in homes, there is almost 100% chance your children are also abused. Abuse can range from sexual abuse, physical abuse, and whatnot. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because people will be suffering, and I tell you, almost all the children I have spoken to confessed privately that they have been sexually abused. I'm not saying all of the people that are abused. I'm saying all that I have spoken to. They confessed that whilst their father is busy abusing their mother, the father is also sexually abusing them. Yes. I say yes and yes. But they don't talk. They don't talk because since their mothers, in some cases fathers, but generally speaking, mothers accepted to be abused in the name of marriage. And since the children cannot look up to their mother for protection, they succumb and keep quiet. Because if mothers are accepting abuse to be married, children will also be accepting abuse to be in the house. Divorce is bad, of course, depending. Divorce is good, it depends. What is happening in your homes? If you tolerate and allow your husband to abuse you and abuse the children, you don't know the depth of what is happening at home. How dare you tell me about whether divorce is good or bad? Family, you can call in. You can call in if you want to make any contribution. But before I continue, I want to start with our IOM, Madam Hope. Or let's start with Dr. Godfrey, Barrister Godfrey. Barrister Godfrey, a lot of women, and in some cases men, accept abuse of all kinds. When I say abuse, I mean abuse. They say, oh, is the culture, oh, is the tradition, oh, is my calling to be abused. My question now is to you, barrister, as the male, why is it that our culture and tradition accept? Okay, let me ask you first of all, barrister. Barrister, men and women, are they equal before the law? Or is there any disparity between men and women in the court of law? Barrister Godfrey.
Thank you very much. There is equality before the law for men and women. None is superior to the other.
If none is, okay, go on.
One is what the same law says about the other. Both are equal before the law. There is no discrepancy or whatever.
If men and women are equal before the law, the question now is, why is it that our religious books and our tradition says otherwise?
Now, even the Bible tells us that a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to the wife. Thus, the two are joined together. And that the husband should love the wife. There is nothing like inequality there, right? Because marriage under the Christendom is strictly the union of a man and a woman. So wherein then lies the inequality? There is nothing like that.
So my question again to you. Sorry, if you mute, thank you. My question again to you is, why is it that our religion, when they are teaching you, they say, go and be submissive to your husband? They chase you. They say, you must submit to your husband. What is the definition of submission? And again, why do our traditional practices tell us that a woman must be underneath the man? Barrister.
Well, being submissive to the man is because of the people's perception of that union, that the man is the head. That doesn't mean that you are a servant to the man. It doesn't mean that. Being submissive, my own understanding, is for you to help in maintaining peace. There shouldn't be any rancor in the union. Because the man, they say it's a man's world. That's the common saying. And being a man's world, the man is always seen as the supreme. But then in the actual union, both parties are equal. For you to be submissive, it's just for you to ensure that there is peace.
Okay.
For both parties.
Let me read the definition of submission to you. Submission means to be ready to conform to authority. You have to conform and be submissive, or the will of another. You have to conform to the will of another or to authority. Women all the time are told, you must be submissive. You must submit to the will of your husband, for the marriage. And this, I know a lot of women quote when someone is calling. Hold on, sir. Hello, who is speaking? Oh dear, stop calling. Yeah, so you can call, but don't cut off. Call with WhatsApp. So on that basis, they are always told, as a woman, you must submit to the authority of your husband. And that is why most women are told to go back to your husband, submit to him. He is the law and authority in the house. And also, I would like you to touch on tradition. I know we all are married. Not we all, but the people that are married are told that your husband is your kind of mini God, that you must submit again to his authority. Barrister, why is it that the culture and tradition always remind women that they must do and obey or submit to the husbands, rather than the partnership you talked about?
They say it's a man's world, and that whatever the man says is supreme. And again, the way the custom and traditions see it, they follow that strictly, that the man should be supreme. But then when you subject it to interpretation, you have to clearly spell out whether that submission entails carrying out whatever the man wants you to do. So that means if he tells you to go and kill, you go and kill because he's your husband.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very practical. Thank you. Thank you. So, Barrister, sorry, I'm coming back and forth with you. Barrister, you are talking as a barrister, because I know that even if I say this is white, and you can prove that it's black because of your position as a barrister, and an old word at that. But barrister, in a layman's, you are learned, but in a layman's understanding, submission, even the dictionary, I'm reading from the Oxford Dictionary, ready to conform to the authority or will of others. Yeah, I know you are saying, the second one is almost, they say you submit almost sheepishly, sheep-like, like a sheep. It says it here in the dictionary. You submit like a sheep. This is Oxford Online Dictionary. And I know you're, as a barrister, you're trying to prove that if he tells you to kill me, you kill. But when they say to you, submit to your husband, they remind you he's your head, he's your owner, he's your this, he married you, he paid your bride price, he owns you, you must submit to him. Why is it that the tradition, I'm repeating this question because I know both in the book of, in the Bible and also in the traditional practices, they say you must submit. But you're here telling me that under the law, that a man and a woman are equal before the eyes of the court. So, and you said it's partnership as well, equality and partnership. So why do our religious books as well as tradition say otherwise, sir? Please.
It is said that English language derives color from its environment. It depends on how you apply it. Submission, strictly speaking, is what you read out as the definition in the dictionary.
Yeah.
But then, we are with particular reference to marriage.
Yeah.
You don't apply it strict to sense. You must give it that liberal interpretation. Otherwise, you find yourself committing a crime which you never planned for.
Yeah. You want to call what's
And if you commit that crime, you are definitely going in for it. Not even your partner. Except where both of you do it jointly. Right?
Yeah.
Now, coming to the traditional aspect, you know, with particular reference to our own local environment. Most people or most cultures are still very primitive about this thing. The time is long past when women are seen as chattels, things that can be bought with money. That you pay bride price doesn't mean that you have been bought and therefore you must do whatever you are told to do. No. The bride price is merely a symbolic gesture to show that this person is now moving into this home as a wife. You are not a chattel. You are not an article that can be bought and sold. No. But if you go deeper into our primitive traditional practices, that's how they see women. And such don't hold what any at all. It has changed. It's just like previously, women don't inherit in their father's will. But it has changed. Right now, men and women have equal inheritance in their father's estate. Yes. So that's the way it is. Before, you know, they will say, this is for men. Yeah, you are not a man in the family. You are married and gone outside. Right now, if family assets are being shared, men and women receive shares from the families. So a lot of things are changing. Better things are all those traditional practices that subjugated women to very subhuman level. Those things are being turned overboard. So the same thing applies to marriages. In marriages, see yourself as your partner's equal. You have your responsibilities, he has his. If he wants you to now go beyond your own, to your own detriment, you are at liberty to tell him, I cannot do this. If he tries anything against you, of course, you have where you can go for remedy. But people still believe, for better, for worse. For better, for worse doesn't mean that you will die there. No. I've said this thing before. I keep telling people all over. For better, for worse doesn't mean that you must die there. For better, for worse is especially in health matters or maybe where there's financial difficulty. Not when one is subjecting you to a subhuman level. No, you stand up for rights and clear the air. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. So I'm so happy with what you said. You are interpreting the law. Check your WhatsApp. You are interpreting the law, but you are also acknowledging the realities on ground. Barrister, I heard it in between your statements. You said that people think, and truly that is true, and that is what is widely used. But you are saying, Barrister, that if you commit crime in the name of your husband, you are solely responsible according to the law. And that is true. Anyway, in anywhere. Let me talk to women, but before I talk, let me say this before I forget. You know, Barrister is very correct. He's very correct, but unfortunately, because we don't know our human right, like he is interpreting, we tend to listen to any and everyone tell us to submit, go underneath, do as they say. Barrister just said, if you do as they say, go and kill somebody if he says so, you will be held responsible for murder. And if you do as they say, you will be charged. Even in the tradition and religious books, if you do as they say, the traditional people will say, are you a fool? Why did you do that? But they are the same people that will say, do that. So I hear you, Barrister, but we need to start checking our terminologies, because if we look at the definition of some terminologies, it is what it is. It says, submit to authority, submit to your husband. Thank you very much. I want to ask Madam Hope. Madam Hope, Barrister has used his barrister brain to think to the third degree. But he is, like they say, learned. It's not everyone that thinks like him. He read and read to be able to interpret. That is why, as I say to him, I can do something with white color. He will go to court and say it's black, and he will win, because he knows how to digest and dissect terminologies. But I want to ask you a similar question. You heard, you've been here for the part 3 and 4, where Princess and her children spoke about their experience in the husband's house. Princess used the term, which I will tell the family what I think about her terminology in the end. She used the term, she was caged, she was caged, she was locked up, she was not allowed. The husband is like her God, according to the husband. Princess herself is a barrister of the law, Supreme Court of Nigeria, and she's also a human rights activist, a FIDA member, and a princess. A princess, and she's saying that she was locked up, she was caged, she was not allowed, and she has to be submissive. Madam Hope, what do you have to say regarding the fact that a lot of women, the reports I read out according to reports recorded is almost 79. These are the recorded ones. So remember, Princess herself has not reported to authority her own story. The recorded one said 79.4% report in Nigeria, although they have it to 33%. What do you have to say about women suffering or accepting, like Barrister said, accepting all the authorities of their partners, and also saying that the husbands are their mini gods. What do you have to say? What is it related to? Talk to family members, Madam Hope.
Okay. Thank you, NurseAngel. Thank you, family members. I just want to say that I will answer this question with life experience. That maybe that will help us to understand.
Okay.
As a graduate, I was already working this was in 2004. I was already a bank officer in a bank. But I nearly died. It's like a second, just 1 second escape from death from the hand of my eldest brother. Remember, they said family, a close family member.
Yes.
Either the intimate partner or family member.
Correct.
This is my eldest brother who happened to be a principal in a school. He's also a graduate and a master's degree. He's the first in the family. I am the last born out of 7 in the family. And for something that I don't know how to put it, but it's just God that helped me. He used my mother's walking stick. I live in the village. My mother used this guava walking stick. And you know how guava walking stick is very strong.
Yeah.
He used it, and if not because I put my hand by reflex action, I would have died right away. Because even after that incident, for a very long time, real blood was trickling down to my mouth through my nose. I would just spit out as if I want to spit. Maybe when you have is it kata or something like that? Something will just come down through your nose and you spit it out. When I spit, it's a real raw live blood. It lasted for a very long time. God saved me that when I was coming back from the office that day, I just branched into my friend's house. He's a female friend, and they had finished cooking dinner. So I ate. So I had a level of energy. I've not even removed my clothes because I was just coming back from the office. For something that is so irrelevant that has to do with my little nephew that stays with me, and he locked my room. I was so mad. How can you lock me out? I came back from work, you locked me out. I say, if that's the case, let me also come and lock your own room. Before I could even get near to his door, he used my mother's word. I ran and escaped. By then, he has already hit me. I just survived by using my leg to escape death. That is one. If not, I would have been one of these statistics they are talking about. The second aspect is the percentage of men that also die as a violence. In the office I work with, we have also recorded a man who lost his life because of his wife. The woman made sure that the man normally have asthma attack. And whenever this man had any little quarrel with this woman, she will cease, when he sleeps, he goes to bed, she will go and still take away his inhaler or whatever you call it. And that particular night, this man had crisis, and the woman took away the inhaler and watched this man struggled and died. Because why did we know? This man had already reported to our office, and the Honorable Commissioner advised him to move out of that house just like any other Even a woman can be advised to, even if she didn't know that the best thing to save her life is to move out of that house. He was advised to move out of that house. But he was like, because of his little son, how can he leave the house? How can this and that? Just in less than 1 week, this man called the honorable commissioner while he was having that struggle. When the honorable commissioner noticed the missed call and called back, the woman told the honorable commissioner that the husband has died. That aside, I'm using life experience to interpret some of these
statistics.
Data. Statistics we are talking about. My immediate elder sister, thank God that we are there for her. Her husband, when she nearly died as a result of domestic violence, the man equally wanted to relocate her because if he has succeeded in relocating her from her base, by today, my sister would have turned a beggar if she's still alive, if she would still be alive. But thank God we were there and supported her. When this man found out that, when he later came to her apologizing, I don't know what's happening. There is a back, whatever is repeating what I'm saying. When the man finally came back in the name of reconciliation and everything, because when he married her, he thought she had a lot of money. The business they do is business that they will carry goods on credit. When they carry goods on credit, they will sell and pay the capital. NurseAngel, I don't know what's happening now, and it's interrupting, it's cutting my flow. So they will sell and just make their gain and pay back the capital. So if you come to the shop, you will think that the whole goods there, the person is the owner of the money and the whole goods. When this man married her and find out that this is how she does her business, he was disappointed that the money he came for was not there. So he even abandoned her and went and married another wife. We encouraged her with her own only daughter. She moved on, she picked and moved on with her life. Even at that, a particular of my sisters and my brother was telling her, why can't you submit yourself? Why can't you, go and get married and submit yourself to the husband? But that was there, understanding and explaining and supporting her, she was able to move on. So when this man finally came back in the name of reconciliation, he actually came back to really kill this lady. By that time, she developed BP. She was so afraid if she enters, whether she would die before daybreak. This man, in the name of having sex with her as a husband and wife relationship, this woman thought her baby and everything. Somebody who is a group, I don't know the level of, we're talking of intimate partner violence and rape, sexual abuse and all those stuff. Now, we talk about the mentality of the people. I found out that just like when a child is born, the environment, we are looking at nature and nurture. The environment where the child is nurtured, the way, the language they speak, the child naturally tends to learn the language and the way those people speak. A Nigerian child that was born in UK and brought up, his or her accent, the way he or she speaks. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. In UK, the way, or US, the tone, the accent that child speaks cannot be the same is born and grown up in Igbo land will speak, because that's the way I was, the language of the people, the way I learned it naturally, the way I was taught. Why am I saying this? Girls and women has been taught that their place is to serve the man and to submit to the man. And every woman, I'm using that word, every woman that is being brought up in this environment, under this religion and cultural belief and training and grooming, will always want to prove that she is a virtuous woman, that she wants peace in her home, that she is not a rebel, because they term any woman who tries to defend her rights as a rebellious woman.
Yeah.
That she's rebellious and disrespectful. She cannot humble herself and to authority and rest. So the whole religion, culture, and the societal gender stereotype, and what is expected of a woman, even though you know your rights, what the law has said, just like in the scenario of our own sister who is a lawyer, you find out that in everything she said, she made it clear to us that she didn't want to be termed a rebel or disrespectful or not being submissive. She wanted her marriage to work. She wanted to show that she's a virtuous woman, that she can, no matter what she's passing through, that she has the ability to be able to, hold forth, hoping that it will be, how do I put it, that everything will still be okay. But instead of winning the heart of the husband, hoping that with her submissiveness and keeping to obeying every directive and everything, over to love her and to respect her and to enjoy a peaceful marriage, because that is what everybody, let me use the word, not everybody, most women who have been brought up under this religious and cultural and whatever traditional background will always want to prove that they can be a virtuous woman, that they can be respectful, that they can bow and submit to their husband, and they can be able to make their home to work. And they don't want a divorce where there should be a separation, the children growing up separately. She has the ability to make this marriage work. But the more, just like the common language, they say, the more you patch, the more it leak. The more you patch, the more it leak. So the more you patch, the more the man is even growing wings and making sure that he will bring you to the point that will reduce you to nothing. And immediately you die. Man, he believes that he can marry as many wives as he wants. You, for as far as he's concerned, he's not considering you as a partner who agreed to marry, because Bible itself also said two cannot work together.
Oh.
To marry, to love and respect each other. He never said that the other one will become a slave and become a tool of object of whatever you want to use it in the name of submission and in the name of trying to respect. So
I think a lot of network interference
in our own family. Why? Because we decided to live financially independent and also to know what we want in life, and we make decisions by ourselves and do what we know that is good for our life and destiny. we find out that even my siblings, our siblings are seeing us as rebel. Why? One of my elder sisters, second elder sister, who only went to secondary school, but because of this grooming and training, and even when she got married, she know the husband had another woman he kept somewhere that he's feeding and taking care of, and impregnating her, and she's giving birth for him. He will still come back. She will suffer and make sure that the whole family, she's taking care of the whole family. The man will decide whatever. And she cannot say anything. She knew that the husband has another family somewhere. Yet, for her to remain in marriage, she just had to endure it. Now, she sees us who are able to make decisions and not going to beg anybody anytime, but we decided that whatever we have, we can make decisions with it, and we can live, be contented with it without going to plead and try to please somebody for anything. She sees us as a rebel because the society has groomed her to make her to feel that she's only a virtuous woman when she depends on others. She cannot make decisions for herself. Even when her right is being trampled upon, she cannot say no. If not, that means she's a rebel. And this is why when we say that women fight against other women, that women are the ones that you perpetrating violence against women, they are the ones that are enforcing the so-called culture and tradition, just like in the side of our so and Omoku. You find out that it's like they will say, all of us have been born into this culture and tradition. Why will you now want to, why will your own be different? All of us are meant to be slaves. All of us are meant to, excuse me, all of us are meant to be submissive. All of us are meant to make sure that we conform to the culture and tradition of the land. Why would you now say you know your right, that you cannot do it? They will make sure they force you to do it, whether you like it or not. So it's like that. We have been groomed. The girls have been groomed from the very beginning. That's why a girl child will say, why are you playing? Go inside and follow your mother and cook. Why the boy child is allowed to stay outside and play football and do other things? They will not consider that as you are training the boy child, the girl child, you are training the boy child. The same time, they will tell a girl child, see properly. Yes, we know that we don't need to expose indecently, but there are sometimes the way that what a boy does, nobody cares. But this girl child, there is a lot of things that you have that has been, she has been taught to do this, to do that. This is what the culture says, what this, and as a woman, even as a girl child, you cannot even express yourself or ask questions or do things. And you talk about the barrister talked about inheritance of girl child, and it's no longer the same, that today everybody inherits. And I say, yes, barrister is true. And our family members, we also know that the Ukeje, the Supreme Court is there. The VAP law of Anambra State is also there for inheritance. The Constitution is there. But naturally, how many family members are sharing their father's inheritance with their female siblings? And I tell you that I am number one person who never shared in my father's inheritance, even though I know my rights. My brothers, they took everything. We are 7 of us. They were only 2. We are 5 female. They took everything, only, even including property outside the ancestral home or community. So for me to, because I know my right, for me to get it, I must use law, I must use money, I must go to the court. No matter how many years, I'll spend time and money trying to get what belongs to me by flesh and blood, when others has already shared it and squandered it and enjoyed it. I'm still fighting over it. So these are the things we are trying to look at.
that whatever is making a woman to want to die in a domestic violence environment is because the society has made it that if you leave this house, where are you going to? Are you going back to your father's house? Do you still have a room in that house when you go back? You that is not even married, they are telling you to leave. What are you still doing here? So if you now marry, you have to tolerate and swallow everything that is meted against you, because the door to your father's house has been closed against you. You coming back, they will label you. Look at this one. She married, she no fit stay from her husband's house. She come here, one come cause trouble for us. So the society, the family, a lot of things. And this is why we are bringing up. So even a woman who want to naturally divorce, the society will not allow her. The woman who want to escape death and abuse, the society and family will not allow her to make that decision. Even when she tried to seek, they would even discourage her from, except for few. But thank God that today, with this public enlightenment, conscientizing ourselves, bringing it to the limelight, to the public, interrogating all these things. I think a lot of people are becoming, so that in all these things we are saying, we will be able to know and begin to tell our children to know that the truth remains is that they have rights to life because they are human beings. Whether you are a boy or a girl, male or female, you are all born equal as a human being, because it's an inalienable right, it's an inherent, it's something that as a human being, you have right to life and all the rights attached to everybody. So nobody will take it away from you because you decided to get married. That will not take away your rights from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. And I would like to, before I come to Madam Marjory, that was a very long speech, Madam Hope. You can mute Madam Hope for interception to prevent it. Before I come to you, Madam Marjory, I want to come back to our only barrister in the house. Barrister, I know you heard all Madam Hope said. For example, Madam Hope said, no room in your father's house. Doors to your father's house have been closed against you for women. She talked about, I know you said every human are equal under the law. Yet she said, Madam Hope said there are VAP laws, there is a constitution, this law and that law, yet she herself, she is a human rights activist. She said there are five female in her father's house, if I heard her properly. Nonetheless, no room in your father's house, meaning that you have to fight and fight or so. I don't know what she means. But let me ask you, Barrister, a question. Barrister, if all these laws, Madam Hope is a human rights activist, meaning if I have issue, I will have to run to her as a human rights, gender equality-based, gender rights activist, frontline responder, and whatnot. If I have an issue, I will run to the likes of Madam Hope. And Madam Hope is saying that her father's property, everything has been shared between the men, and even the properties that are outside the family home, they did not get nothing as a woman. And I'm looking, Jesus, am I safe to go to, I'm not talking about Madam Hope. I'm using Madam Hope as an example of human rights activists that are supposed to fight, help me fight for my rights, at least to have a home in my father's house. And she's using herself, and I thank you, Madam Hope, as an example to say they did not give it to her. Will she fight all the rest of her life to get a property that is a waste, that's something like that. Barrister, these laws are there. Meaning, as she asked, should she go and fight for it? If she did, is a woman that fought to get the law enacted to say that everybody are children and should have should be partakers. But what I hear from Madam Hope is that even if these laws are there, the men enjoy it freely. The men enjoy it freely, but the women have to go to court and fight to get it. Barrister, is it that women, even where we have human rights activists, equality this, frontline responders, VAP law, constitution, and all the laws that protect and talk about equality, is it that women are conformers and do not ask for their right? Or is it that there is something wrong with the law? Barrister, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, absolutely, there's nothing wrong with it. As a woman who now has knowledge of what the law says about your rights, if you keep quiet, you'll be taken to have slept on your right. And that's how it will be. It is now left for you, whenever you see that you are being marginalized, you are being sidelined in what is rightfully yours, it is now left for you to ensure that you go for it with all that you have. You are going to court, it's not just you. You are dragging those people to court. They have to come and tell the court why they should be entitled to the whole thing to your own exclusion. You are not just going there alone. And in going to court, there is a procedure. You can take out an action, get an injunction, placing everything on hold so that nobody can tamper with the assets. That thing you are fighting for, which they are denying you, you can get an injunction from the court, stopping them from tampering with it until the matter is disposed of. Whatever the court decides is what will happen. In my family, I have 9 sisters.
Wow.
And we are two boys. Are you telling me that all those 9 sisters that grew up with me, that I'll turn around to push them out? All of us suffered together? Man, that would be quite unconscionable. Though some men don't have conscience actually when it comes to family matters. But then, as a woman that knows her rights, you have to sit up and insist on your rights. If it is sharing of assets, place everything on hold until the matter is decided.
Can I ask you, hey, can you mute? Let me ask you the question because of interception. Barrister, I'm sorry, when people say, I know my right, and you see them suffering, like Fela would say, suffering and smiling, and they say they know their right. Barrister, do you think they truly understand what it means to know their right? Or do they just know their right because it is said to them, but they don't really understand how to go about getting their rights?
Right. In that case, a lot depends on the family heads, like the parents. The parents has that responsibility to educate their children on what ought to be and what ought not to be. So once the female gender knows about this thing, then as the limit.
Fantastic.
But if you keep quiet, if they keep quiet, all the male members will now assume that it is absolutely for them. And they will now back it up with certain obnoxious traditional practices. Then you can always overturn this when you go to court. The court is there as the greatest advocate. The court is there to guarantee your rights. The laws are there, but the laws will remain dormant until you bring them up and apply them to the situation. If you don't apply the law, they remain there. And if you keep quiet, you would have slept on your rights. And who are you going to blame again? So, like I always say, open your mouth and say what you are observing. If you open your mouth, you can get proper advice. If you keep quiet, you suffer in silence. And nothing will happen about it.
Wow.
So that's it.
Wow.
Thank you very, very much.
I don't know what I answered your question.
1000%. And I'm happy. Thank you. You can mute. I'll come to Barrister Ngozi Anyanwu because Marjory is not here. You can remain mute until I finish because of interception. Barrister Ngozi Anyanwu, your colleague or a senior colleague, said that I know why I asked Barrister this question. Everybody I know say, I know my right, but I don't want it. And yet they're complaining, not referring to what Madam Hope said, but referring to, I know my opinion about that as well. Barrister Ngozi, Barrister Godfrey said, if you keep quiet, you are sleeping on your right. But the most important thing, Barrister said, which I have been crying about, is educate your female children. Educate your children entirely, especially the female ones. Because trust me, I do not agree that women, generally speaking, know their right completely. Kill me, I will say that. Because they say, I know my right, but when I hear that, I smile. Let me tell you something. To what extent do you know your right? Oh, I have this in I have that and that. Yes, let's keep that apart. Now, when a girl and a boy child are born, when they are being trained, the women are tamed, taught, and told, you must be down, the man must. That is how they train every one of us, generally speaking, most of us in Africa, including me. I was rebellious, I refused. But generally speaking, they will say, you are a woman, you will leave the house. You see, Barrister talked about educate your female children, and I agree. So when we say we know their right, our right is a lie. I'm sorry, I beg to differ. Is a lie. To what extent do you know your right? I tell you this. You're trained with a boy child, like Madam Hope rightly depicted. When you're growing up, they will say, the boy is the owner of this, the boy have the family house, the boy have the boy is the family, the boy is the this, the girl is the that. They're pushing the girl away. They tell the girls, you amount to like a visitor in the house. You will marry and go away. You see, what rights are you talking about that you know? When you've been told by your own father and mother that gave birth to you that you do not belong to the house, that you will go away to no man's land, away to somebody's land, and you can try and make a home there, not here. You see, this alone is the human right, you know, that you're nobody in your father's house. So when people say, I know my right, I don't want my right, I'm laughing. What rights do you know? Now, barrister said that the greatest advocate is the court, that the court guarantees you your right, and that the court and the law remains dormant until applied or tested. A lot of people say, I know, however, the court is a waste of time. The court is a long process. The court is this. I'm not saying it's not. I'm telling you excuses. It's not surprising if you give me the excuse. But let me tell you the human rights we know. The human rights we know are the human rights we are taught from birth to adulthood. You are a woman. You don't have a place in this house. You'll be married away. You make a home somewhere. Do not come back. If you come back, it's a disgrace. You need to go away. You need to show that you're trained to be a wife. Do what your husband tells you to do. And by the time they sing this song into your ears, and the law says you have rights, you won't agree, no lie. After all, my father said this. So, barrister, I agree that with what the barrister Godfrey said, that the female daughters need to be trained. And I can tell you, a lot of us listening to this program, typing and commenting, are training their female daughters the way they are trained. Yes. Unless you retrain yourself, you will continue passing down inequality and preaching equality. Double standard. So my question to you, barrister, being a barrister, I've asked you this question a billion times. Being a barrister, you told your story, Barrister Ngozi, from day one, when I heard your story. You said you were locked up. You said you were imprisoned. You said a whole lot of things. And I said, no. I said no. That you chose to be what you are. And we spoke. You made the choice. You made the choice. But if you said to me, because of the law and the tradition, I will listen to you. But if you said to me, he chained you, he tied you, he did this, he did that, I would say it's a lie. Even if it's true, you can decide otherwise. Because you are a barrister of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. You are an adult practicing and defending others. You are a human rights advocate. You are a feather, a first-line responder to injustice against women. And you are telling me that you were locked up in prison. I say, I beg to differ. Barrister, with love and knowing that people are listening to us, people are suffering. You see what we are saying? People typing and commenting and saying it's true, as suffering the same thing. My question to you is, having been a learned barrister of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, knowing the laws as we claim to know, being brought up, because there is, when you inculcate from childhood to adulthood, is so powerful. Can I ask you, do you think that tradition and religion are almost superior to people than the law? What do you have to say generally and also as an individual? My question is, knowing the law, like Barrister Godfrey said, the law is there, equality between man and woman. The law is there, no partnership. You know that law. Yet, you said, my husband did this, I come to you, you defend me. So my question again to you, Barrister Princess Ngozi, knowing the law, what is it that made you to accept to be abused by your husband? Barrister.
Yeah. Let me start with the caging and the imprisoning and all that you went. Let me put it this way. For you to cage somebody, you must have a tool, you must have a chain, you must have a lock to keep somebody under lock and key. It now depends on what the chain is and the lock is. A situation where you have been brought up in a particular culture and religion to conform to certain behavior, to conform, to be a conformer, to abuse from a man, and you've been trained that the man is superior in a patriarchal society, that is a male chauvinistic society, I must say, that's already caged you. So somebody using it as a tool, telling you, we are married in church, and the Bible says you must submit to me. You must submit to me like I am God to you. So that's the tool that they used to cage me.
Okay.
You understand? And somebody telling you, that if you go back, everybody will laugh at you, that you brought shame to your family because you become a rebel. That's another tool to chain you with. That's another chain. So if I say I was caged, yes, I was caged, but what was I caged with? I wasn't physically held in, but I was caged. Emotionally, I was caged. Mentally, I was caged. That even if the door was open, I wouldn't even walk out. So, rightfully, knowing your right is one thing, but how you were brought up is another. Yes, you go like in your mind, okay, yeah, this is the law, this is this. When you have a client, you go, you defend the client, but this is your own family now. Oh, even the day you get married, they'll tell you, you're a lawyer, okay. Female lawyers, hey, barristers, they give problem in their families. When you just get to, that will be the only advice you get from people. When you get to your family, to your home, we know you're a lawyer. We know you went to school. You know you are this. You know we are this. But please, that's your certificate. That's your wig and gown. When it comes to your family matter, please keep it aside and be a woman. In fact, what a non-lawyer would say in the family, a non-lawyer, a female that is not a lawyer will do in the family and is excused. A female lawyer cannot even do it. Anything you do, you will just be stigmatized because you're a lawyer. So female lawyers actually work harder to keep their homes and work harder to conform. They even conform more than their counterparts that are not even lawyers, even though they go back out and still defend their counterparts. It's an irony, but that is just what happens.
Can I ask? One minute. Can I ask and say, is that not a choice? Because
that's a choice. Yes, it's a choice.
Because there are other lawyers as well in Nigeria that assert their rights as well. I know you're generalizing, but we also have lawyers that assert their rights, female lawyers. That is why there are association of female lawyers that want to fight not just for themselves, but for others.
Yes, I will tell you for sure that amongst lawyers, female lawyers, there's hardly any lawyer that was married or is married that didn't have her right, one or two places, trampled upon.
No, that's not what I said. Let me repeat. No, let me repeat what I said. Generally speaking, both men and women have their rights trampled upon. generally. But you said that lawyers, because of they would tell you certificate put on that. Yes, you're right. But I'm saying to you that there are lawyers that defend their right totally. When I say that, come on, we all let one or two things to sleep, generally, both men and women. But I'm talking about abuse. Yes, a lot of lawyers are abused, and a lot of lawyers are also saying no to abuse and fight their case. Yes or no?
Exactly. Exactly. They say no to abuse and they fight their case. For you to fight, you have to first of all rise above conformity.
Thank you.
You have to first of all get released from being conformed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Continue.
So once you do that, then you will be able to fight.
Fantastic.
And fight for others, which is where my stage now, like I can't even imagine somebody doing all that to me at this time. It's an impossibility.
Fantastic.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine somebody doing what my ex did to me again. It will never happen.
So just to stop you,
really
just to stop you,
that. I've gotten myself out of that.
Just to ask you on top of what you said, I hear you now, and I'm happy to hear you say this firmly, because when we hear, oh, this, as if we don't, I'm sorry, as if we don't have brain, because people are watching, and like we are talking about conformity. I like the term you use, because a lot of people want to conform. You said right now, nobody can do that to you again. Are you still a lawyer?
Yes.
Fantastic. So even if you're a lawyer, and even if you're a lawyer and you're getting married now, if they tell you put your certificate under the box, will you do that, or will you assert your right?
No, I will accept my right, because I would have told you beforehand that, look, this time, this shouldn't happen. Don't even, if when you get to that aspect, in fact, that's my breaking point. I would not. That's a no deal for me.
Fantastic.
You understand? Put your certificate aside and conform to whatever we dish out to you. It's a no.
Fantastic. One thing, one thing I want to say, Madam Hope said something, and I want to bring it back to the barrister. You can mute, Ngozi, unless you have something else you want to say. And thank you for your sweet answer. When I say sweet, because family that are watching, if we say, okay, anyway, barrister, when Madam Hope was talking, I'll come back to Madam Hope. When Madam Hope was talking, she said, although not exactly as I'm going to say it, that a major tool, she said a major tool used to shame African women. She said our people, but let me use the broader terminology, African women into suffering in the name of marriage is that, and that is what our barrister was also saying. Our barrister was saying, as a barrister, female barrister, that before, when she was getting married, they tell you, put your certificate in the box, don't use it, don't do this, don't do that. And they kind of try to intimidate you, not to assert your right. And she was like, that is what happened, that is difficult for a barrister to speak of in her family, that is easier for someone that is not a lawyer to do so. But I came to her and said no, that I think I don't agree, because other barristers we assert. And she said yes, but she was just generalizing. She and Madam Hope are saying almost the same thing, that one thing they use to shame women into suffering in the name of marriage and not asserting your right is that if you try to assert your right, they are going to say to you something like, I will use my own term. If you try to assert your right, they will say to you, oh, you want to leave your husband's house? Oh, you want your husband to marry another wife? Oh, you want to be husbandless? Oh, you will not become Mrs. And they will use the title of marriage and second wife availability to subdue you into conformity, whether you are suffering abuses. And even if there are some women, sadly, I'm not defending those women, I'm against it. There are some women that they will see their husband raping their own daughter, and they will not talk because they want to be married. Barrister, do you think is enough for women to justify suffering and allowing their children to undergo torture just to be married? Barrister, what do you think about these excuses we, the women, make?
Guess the question is directed at.
Yes, Barrister Godfrey, yes, you.
My answer to such is very simple. Any woman that condones such, not fit to be a wife, not fit to be a mother, cannot be a role model. Because once something like that is a very grievous offense. And it is your responsibility, job as a woman, to ensure that such is conclusively dealt with. That your husband is raping his daughter shows that animal side of him, which shouldn't be allowed to exist. You bring up the matter. You don't have to shield him because he could get worse. Once something like that is happening and you keep quiet, prepare for something unimaginable because it will surely come.
Fantastic.
A word of advice, if you notice something like that, even if you don't want to go to any judicial body to act on it, get back to the family. The family is still there. Table it before them. If they take sides with him, then you know that yourself, you are in danger. And would you want to stay there and die in the name of wife? Is that the best thing? You don't do that. Except maybe you are a dumb, so maybe you're just a dummy. But if you are a human being, someone that has been to school, someone that's exposed, someone that's knowledgeable in so many fields, and you are saying that, no, I want to remain married, and you condone evil, you are doomed. You are just doomed. So you don't cover up such things. That you expose him doesn't mean that you are challenging him. But it is to put things in the proper perspective, to make things right. By all means, try and ensure that that issue is tackled and dealt with conclusively. If you say, I will not do it, they will say, I'm not a wife material. Let it be. Don't be that wife material, but be alive.
Oh.
Let your children survive. Because most people are beasts, whether men or women. Most people are animals. And if you're unfortunate to have found yourself with such a person in a family, you don't subsume yourself under. By all means, stand up. Let them call you divorcee. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. At least they will tell you that in Igbo language, na nope, a coward, na to akana, one dilapidated house of a strong man. Because if you play the coward, you will survive. You don't have to say, they will talk about me. Let them talk about you, but you are alive. That's why we have the name Ndubisi. That's the major life. Yes. So I don't believe in maybe my wife did this thing to me, and because of what people say, I keep quiet, or my husband did this and changed me. That's rubbish, around nonsense as far as I'm concerned. The person is there condoning those things by choice. Not that the man is good. It's by choice that the woman is suffering those things. I'm calling this suffering from my own perspective. Maybe the woman is enjoying it. So that's the way it is. If you know something the man is doing which is against your interest and which can even ruin you and your children, by all means, expose it. Expose it. Going to court for a divorce is no crime. It doesn't have any stigma except for the uninformed. Be a divorcee, be alive and healthy. Remain a married woman under such condition, then better prepare yourself for the 6 feet under. And that once you go, that's the end. Your children will not be there with you. Your husband or wife will not be there with you. So I don't like hearing some women say, my husband did this. My husband did this. What can I do? That thing by choice. You chose to have it that way. As a matter of fact, before all these things get to a certain unmanageable level, you must have seen the red flag. And if you don't tackle it at that initial period, then prepare yourself for what you're going to get. So that's the way I see. I am a very practical person. I don't believe in all those side talks. No. They will say this. They will say. Let them say. Let them say. At the end of the day, those people that will say will be the ones to come to you to congratulate you. Let them say, because they will be talking so as to curry favor from the assaulting partner. But later, they will realize what you are fighting for.
Wow.
I'm done.
Wow. That's bombard, Mr. Fantastic, semi-bombastic. You bombard this bombastic element. Thank you for your response. We come to Madam Hope. Madam Hope, before you unmute because of interception, we heard you, and a lot of us say, I know my right, but I know my right, but I know my right, but what? The sufferings, the time it will take, the this, the that, and the that. But to me, I see a lot apart from those things counted, which, like you also said, as you were talking, that the parents, the heritage, the training of children, I think is more to it than the other things, because men are told, I would say to you, and I will say it loud and clear, men are taught to fight for their right. Yes, men are taught to, this is your right. You are a man. You should be this. You should get this. You should get that. You need to be this. You need to take possession of your possessions. And who teaches them that? Both men and father and mother. Fathers and mothers, we tell a male child, you are the man. When you marry, you should assert your right. You should do this. It's the parents that train the guy to know their right. So they know their right. They know, if a man tells me he knows his right, although it's not all of them, I will tend to want to agree. That is why you see men going to anywhere, going to the elders, going here. If the elders don't give him justice, he goes here, he keeps going and going and going and going and fighting if he needs to fight. He'll call people, help me. He knows, because he was taught, like Barrister Godfrey said, he was taught from childhood about his right. So Barrister is saying, if women are also from childhood, female children are educated about their right. And this is, as long as I'm concerned, divorce, no divorce, abuse, no abuse have to do with human rights. It has to do with human rights. Barrister closed his eyes and said everything he said. But I want to ask you, Madam Hope. Madam Hope, Barrister said a woman that cannot fight for her right and defend her children is not fit to be a mother. And he said a whole lot of things as well. Maybe she likes the abuse. When he's saying it, it sounds correct in my ear, but in another ear, I'm like, is he a woman? So I want to repeat. When he said that, it sounds correct in my ear. But in another ear, the other ear is like, he's not a woman, he's a man's voice I'm hearing. My question to you is, are there things that Barrister may not truly understand in a position of being a man that was actually taught his right from birth? And is he thinking that that right that was taught to him was equally taught to the woman, so that if a woman is suffering, that she should remember what her parents told her, that you own the compound, you own the family home, you are a child, you are our child, you are equal with a man? Do you think that he is speaking like a man, so he will not understand the place of the woman or what she undergoes?
Okay. I may not really say that he didn't understand what from the woman point of view. There is the element of truth in what he said, but at the same time, he said he's a practical person, but in practicality and reality of what we are saying, like that statement he made, that will also tell you that that statement is also speaking directly to me. Like I said, I am informed, I have been taught that this is my right, but I know that I am still incapacitated to be able to enforce this my right, because you are facing the whole of society while you are fighting for your right, because from the very time you are being breastfed, you have been taught that this is you as a woman. So for you to be able to stand and fight this, it also means that it still have to like go back to the foundation. That is why we are talking about unlearning, that we have to unlearn what we have been taught and learn and relearn. So that the only way we can do this now, while we are unlearning and relearning, we'll begin early enough to teach our boys and our girls from the very beginning. They said, Igbo people said that a son that the father sent to go and steal something will use his leg with boldness and break the door and enter, because he's going with all confidence. His father sent him. So that's why these boys that have been groomed to know that is their right, they are the one to inherit the family, inherit everything, inherit all the inheritables that their sisters are meant to live. That's why when it's time, they felt that you are supposed to leave this house. What are you still doing here? And the girl has been trained to know that she doesn't belong to that house. She doesn't have anything in that house. So if the boys start taking away those things, already her father has told her that she doesn't have any share in this house. So you will not see her fight that thing with all boldness. She cannot even go to the woman now to begin to ask them that this thing belongs to me, because the woman now will also join her to tell her that nothing, she doesn't have any share in this place. She will now run to the court. Now running to the court, where will she get the resources that is needed to pursue all this? When the men, before you know it, they have even, before she can even get whatever the barrister told us that they will make them to stay action or whatever, that they will not be able to dispose the property. Immediately the first time they get caught someone on it, they would have disposed one property to gather the money they will use to fight you when you don't even have money to fight. We are not saying this to discourage people not to fight. But we find out that fight, you have to fight with resources, you have to fight with mental and emotional, psychological support. There are things. They also said, Igbo people also said that a child, when you say a child fighting, and she has somebody, just like when Nigeria go to play football, you talk about the fans that will follow them to go and play play all those things, fans supporting music, encouraging them to do more. But if a child, even no matter how strong that child is, and is fighting with a child who is weak, he knows that he can beat him very well, but that child's father is there encouraging him to fight it, he will lose all his strength because the other child's father is there supporting. And that one who has the father's support will gather confidence and boldness to fight the other one who is even naturally stronger than him. Why am I saying this? The society generally, your family, the community, all of them are the ones holding this culture and tradition and custodians and whatever of the so-called culture. And for you to fight, who is there to support you? Because even a woman is not even in a hurry to arrest her husband when he abuses her. A woman was rushed to the hospital. She didn't even know when she was rushed to the hospital as a result of domestic violence. When she woke up in the hospital, her own mother has already reported the matter to police. Police arrested the husband. As a result, he was arrested. He don't enter my house again. That was the end of marriage. So you find out there's a lot of factors that is not every woman that may have the grace and the strength to start fighting. But if we can, from beginning, solve this problem from the root by empowering our both boys and girls to know that these is their siblings, the law has said this, even though the culture had said it, but this culture is against the law of the land. We are talking about the today. We are not talking of yesterday again. Let us begin to groom and train our boys and girls to know that they have equal rights as siblings to their father's inheritance. This will help so that when all of them grow up with the same knowledge, before the other one will think again of taking everything, he would have known that their father has made it clear to them that I have only two things. These two things I have, all of you must share it. Whether it is shared equal or not, but let it be that it is being shared among every member of that family, that all the siblings, they are able to get their resources, whatever belongs to their father. So the only way we can do this is that whoever want to fight needs people to encourage, need people to support them. That's why as we are advocating that this thing should change, we'll begin to walk around our families, around our communities, around our close relatives, so that even when I myself as Hope want to fight for my rights, there should be some people who
Okay. I think network has probably affected her.
Condemning me. The society is condemning me. All my family members is condemning me. All my church people are condemning me. My colleagues are condemning me. So I will just lose hope. Even though the law is there, I may not have the psychological strength and the energy to continue with the fight.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your answer, Madam Hope. I will come back to Barrister Ngozi. Barrister Ngozi, the barrister said something very strong, and it sounded correct in my ear, but in the other ear was like, is it because he's a man? I've asked Madam Hope that question already. In Madam Hope's response, she touched on what we know, the church, the society, omona, omo this and omo that, that the society incapacitated the woman to enforce her right. Wow, powerful. What? She said, facing the whole society, that is very difficult. And that there's something she said amidst others. She said, we need to go back to the foundation to retrain, learn and unlearn. She said, the umuna are powerful. Remember, these are the people that, whether it's their right or not, they've been taught it is their right. And she said, they are powerful and they are a powerful force. We know we have Umwada, but what is Umwada made up of? Umwada is made up of the same trained women that are women that are told you're a woman and all those stuff. So I don't know what Umwada's capacity or capability is. But Madam Hope said something that struck off all the powerful excuses or explanations she gave. She was talking about the society, the church, the umunana, or the umos, which is tradition and culture and religion, that they incapacitate the woman. And it's difficult for the woman, especially when she wants to start fighting. She said, will people come and join her? Will people join her, or will they discourage her? However, she said something, as I said, which almost like blew off all the things she said. She said, even the woman, and that is to me the strongest word, apart from the religion, community, and society, and all the homos. She said, is the woman ready to expose her suffering? Barrister Ngozi, you said you had a code of silence. So, as I said, I want you to listen because this is very important, and we are almost rounding up now. Barrister Godfrey said, the woman is just dumb, or something is wrong with her if she does not want to assert her right that is obviously there. Madam Hope said, society, tradition, religion, which is what I always also say, is incapacitate her. But in her own words, Madam Hope said, is the woman ready? Which for me, that is the most powerful thing she said. Is the woman ready to, he said, even the woman, is she ready to report her husband? I remembered your story, and you always use a code. You said you had a code of silence, meaning that women don't speak up and say what is happening. Let's be honest, a lot of women will come to social media. I love my husband. My husband loves me. We kiss, and we kiss. After writing that, they will be giving one blow 7 apples in the house. And they come back again. Hey, my husband just bought me a jet, a car, a this and a that. The husband will give them 20 blow 1 apple. And she will be in the hospital for a year. She will come out from the hospital bed again. My husband came to visit me. He loves me. He loves me. You see, who are you deceiving? Who is deceiving who? You see, so when Barrister Godfrey was talking about the fact that the law is the greatest advocate of the woman, or human, not just woman, that a woman must be dumb not to utilize her right and assert it. Is there and is given. And Madam Hope unconsciously confirmed that, although she started with saying is correct, she said, will the woman seek to report and to speak up? Barrister, you are a typical example of this woman, Madam Hope was asking if she is ready to speak up. My question to you now is, do you think there is something wrong with the court? Or do you think that women actually, because let's be honest, before I ask you, let's be honest, if I and my husband in Nigeria, we are going out, and my husband start beating me, he may be burnt down by his fellow men. I repeat, I'm talking about walking out on the street, because most women that face domestic violence, it is mostly inside the house. And when they come out, they'll say, wow, after being given a dirty slap, my husband just kissed me this morning and served me in bed. People say, wow, I envy you, I envy you, I wish he's mine. I want to say, most women that face domestic violence is mostly in the house. If I and my husband are walking in the streets of Nigeria and he starts beating me, people will come to my rescue, generally speaking. But if I and my husband again on a different, are walking down the street and I start beating my husband, people will laugh at him. No, it's hard for you to see somebody come to my husband's rescue. It's easier for people to come to my rescue if my husband raises his hand in the public to hit me. My question to you, Madam Barrister Princess Ngozi, is it that there is something wrong with the courts? Or is it that women have this code of silence to protect their man, to protect the marriage, and to allow abuse to reign? Barrister.
That's the code of silence. It's not, there's nothing wrong with the courts. It's the code of silence. Just to keep the code of silence. Be quiet about what is going on in your house, because you must have been brought up believing that anything like that heard outside will be an embarrassment to the family and to your children eventually. In fact, sometimes they'll tell you if you leave your marriage and break up, your children will hate you. They'll dislike you eventually, even if they are seeing it now. Eventually, when they grow older, they'll start finding fault with you and say you're the one that did this, you're the one that did that. And mostly, when women were in an abusive relationship, most times when they leave, they don't live affluently, maybe in affluence as they used to, most times. Because most times they'll have to start all over again. And you find out that things may not be with the children the way it used to be when two people were contributing. Because getting a man to even contribute means still going to the court. And maybe you don't even have money to feed yourself and the children, talk less of paying to go to the court to enforce your rights and the rights of the children, for the man to start paying for their upbringing and his own part of the contribution in raising the children. So you find out that sometimes you may have a backlash when you might have some kids that may eventually become rebellious and tell you that see why they are suffering is because you brought us out. We were children, we didn't know what we were doing, we didn't understand anything, and all that. You find out that faults will still come out. And sometimes some of them get influenced outside by what people say. oh, look at you, you're from a divorce home. And the society even transfers such stigma to the children of divorced home. You'll see somebody saying, okay, maybe the child wants to get married. They'll go like, that girl is from a divorce home, that man is from a divorce home. You can't marry them. You can't get married. They'll deal with you. You know, all that plays out. So when you think about it, it's not just about you going to the court, as my learned colleague says, about you being dumb. It's way deeper than that. It's about, because there's no physical abuse that doesn't go, first of all, with emotional abuse, mental abuse, and conformity. So you have to rise above all that and look forward and say, you know what, I'm going out. Whatever comes, I'm going to face it, headlong. You understand? Then that courage you pick up and you now move. It's not something, it's way deeper than just getting up. And like you said one ear, you looked at it that he was saying the truth. The other ear, you said maybe because he's a man. And I'll say it again and again. It is because he is a man. He is a man. He wasn't raised to be conformed. He wasn't raised to know that the man is going into his house, is going to be his head, and is going to be the one that should decide. In fact, he's going to be the arbiter of whatever decision is done in the house. He wasn't raised like that. So a woman cannot do it to him, so to speak. But it's easier for a man to do it to a woman because of the way the society raised the woman and because of the way the church raised the woman. Do you know that if a woman is divorced, some churches will not even give her Holy Communion? Stop receiving Holy Communion.
What about a man? If a man is divorced,
they'll remove her from the choir.
What about the man? Will he receive Holy Communion?
Okay, if a man, most times you don't even hear it. Most times you don't even hear it. The woman will be given a bad name, and most times you see the man will come with another wife, or maybe go traditionally, marry another wife and become polygamous, and he will even be given a chieftaincy title.
Okay.
If a man will be given, if the man leaves the marriage, he will go pick another woman traditionally, and even go ahead and the same day pick chieftaincy title, and he'll be held. But nobody does that to a woman. In fact, a woman coming out and remarrying, they'll say she's a prostitute. That's why she's marrying one man to the other. So those are the aspects that keep the women in and make them, keep on holding on to that code of silence. But I'm here to tell the women that, look at me. And it's better I'm alive than dead. At least, no matter what, it's better to be alive than to die in the hands of a man. That as soon as he kills you, he goes ahead to marry another wife. In fact, when you're still in the mortuary, they'll give him, his own people will give him another woman to keep him company, so that he will not fall into depression because they are feeling good. They are trying to preserve their man, that their son should not die. They'll get another woman immediately. And when they keep you there and they are doing your lying in state, he's busy texting a girl and telling the girl, well, we are still viewing the corpse. It's very soon they'll put her down, let's go. I'll meet you later. Wait for me in the house. So don't even try. If you die, the man will marry another wife. It's as simple as that. So it's better for you to just leave that place alive than in body bag.
Wow. Wow. I will come back to the barrister, then I have my closing statement. I don't think I want to dance this night after hearing what I've heard. Barrister, we, the Women Association, the Council of Nigerian Women, are accusing you, the only male amongst us, that you are a man. But I want to stand out of this, to hear from you, then I'll make my conclusion. Barrister, before you unmute because of interception, your colleague in the Supreme Court of Nigeria says there is nothing wrong with the code. However, she is justifying the fact that there is truly a code, because what you said is the woman's choice, and that is what I've always said. But she is saying, yes, there is a code of silence, not to report, because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Most times they will tell you, the society will find fault, the children will be told they are out of, they cannot marry. You know, sometimes we believe that it's either you're married or you're useless. That's what I heard when I heard that the children, it will affect the children, meaning I rather die than my child not to be married. As if you're not married, you're useless. That's the same thing I hear. And again, she said something rather powerful, because I don't buy the fact that when the child wants to get married, they'll say you're divorced. Must you marry? My daughter, I have a daughter. She reminds me that marriage is not by force. I say, of course it's not, because it's all about you. What do you want to be? What do you want? Rather than thinking of marriage of my daughter, then I die in a marriage with her being raped and being beaten and a whole lot of other things. I don't agree with that. However, there's something I heard her say I want to throw back to you, which is powerful. She said that that's the church. Me and church. She said that the church, even the tradition and culture. In fact, she said that the church will not give a woman Holy Communion. I asked, will he give a man? I can't remember if she answered it or not, but that is irrelevant. The very relevant thing she said is that when a woman dies, the family rush and give. In fact, that when a man is abusing the wife and you lose your husband and your wife, that they will give you chieftaincy title. They will, she doesn't mean as a result of a man killing the husband, but they are telling you that even a divorcee, rather, sorry, is divorcee, not dead. She says a divorced man can have chieftaincy titles, he can have 10 more wives, he can have people bowing and recognizing him. But let me use these two powerful ones. He can have chieftaincy title, he can have more wives. Yeah. But a divorced woman, that if she wants to get married, they will term her a prostitute. I don't understand. I want you, the man, to talk to me. Do you think that is correct to say that when a woman is divorced, I know you're a man, but you're also a lawyer and you're in the society, she's termed a prostitute if she goes into a relationship or wants to remarry? They'll say she's marrying about. But when a man is divorced, they line up women for him, or he can, marry as many as he wants, and he will be recognized even if he's divorced. But the woman, in many cases, even in the church, will not be recognized. Barrister, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I don't agree with such. That is not the correct position. If there's a divorce, people will try to find out what led to the divorce. How did it come about? If it is the woman that initiated the divorce, what made her, notwithstanding our local background, to initiate the divorce? And once there is a plausible explanation as to why that divorce had to occur, nobody is blaming the woman for anything. As for the man, if you cover up for him, because in most cases, the men are the aggressive ones in the homes. If you cover up for him, then you suffer. I've said this thing severally. And my another colleague said that that I was talking because I'm a man. I was brought up that way. To show, in my home, I cook, I mop the house, I wash plates, I do all those things. It doesn't remove anything from me. If I'm the type she has in mind, of course I should be somewhere drinking a glass of wine while the woman labors to whatever degree she wants. So a lot depends on the individual concerned. I wasn't brought up that way. My dad was a teacher before he went to the university. And he will always tell you, look, I am a certificated trained teacher. If you misbehave, I know how to discipline you. And we grew up that way, both the boys and the girls. So a lot depends on the particular individual involved. Nothing is influencing her as far as I'm concerned. If the woman chooses to keep mute, well, let her keep mute like a lamb led to slaughter. But if she stands up for her right, she will definitely get support. Now I have a sister. She's living with her husband, one of my kid sisters. The guy will come to me and be, oh, nice man, nice man. But my sister will tell me, look at what this man is doing. Of course, I will always tell her, just exercise patience, exercise patience. Until it got to such a point that I had to confront the man. I told him, if I hear anything again, I'll put you under. That was during the end-times prophet. Because of the curfew place, I couldn't go to their house. If I had had my way that time, he wouldn't have been able to tell people what happened. But since that time, he stopped all those nonsense he was doing. If I had not listened to my sister, maybe start playing the man, of course, one day my sister would have died, would die, and the man would be living free and possibly get another wife. So a lot depends on the individual involved. And for the woman, open your eyes, open your ears, let your senses be alert. Once you see the red flag, plan on how to avoid it. If it comes on like the whirlwind, tackle it the way you should tackle it. Nothing will happen. Nobody, is all this stigma they are talking about is just what people are imagining. But I've never heard anybody talk about the divorced woman like that anyway. I've interacted with a lot of them. I have interacted with a lot of them. I've not had, the only person that talks about the divorced woman is her partner, that went through the divorce with her. Because he will always try to rubbish her image. And of course, you don't judge a case based on the testimony of only one witness. You must hear both sides. So I still stand by what I said. If your life is threatened, if you're not comfortable with the situation, if you're going through psychological trauma, please find a way to save yourself. Even if you don't want the so-called divorce. Like when I was living in Owerri, my colleague, my next door neighbor, is a colleague of mine. I was living in one flat, she was living in the other one. There wasn't any divorce. She simply moved away from the home where she was staying with the husband for her own sanity and health. And she stayed there, was very okay. The children were coming to stay with her. Of course, they're all grown now. So it's not about what will people say. That's rubbish as far as I still maintain that. That's rubbish, nonsense. You want to die. You want to satisfy people who don't even have your good interest at heart.
Oh.
But who are you satisfying? Who are you satisfying? People have their own problems in their respective homes. And you feel that they will come and they will tell you this, tell you that. Forget it. Like the example you get that on social media, they will post this, speaking glowingly about the partners, when actually they are being used like rags. most people are not truthful to themselves. They are just deceiving themselves. And at the end of the day, they pay dearly. Because that thing they are hiding will always manifest in a worse state. That's it. That's the way I see such things. So my colleague, I'm a down to earth man.
I want to ask you a question. If you mute, my follow-up question is: your colleague, as you call her, our colleague, said that most times when people divorce or leave, that they are worse off, that the women are worse off. Even the children start saying, why did you take us away from our comfort zone? And you said that there is a neighbor of yours that left and she's stable. Do you think that it's better to move away or divorce if there is an irredeemable issue? Because for her to say in divorce, the woman suffers in terms of resources, meaning there may not be child support, maintenance, and what have you. So is it advisable to move away, or is it advisable to divorce if there is an irremediable dispute that they have to live their separate lives?
Now, if, let's say, in most homes, the women hardly generate their own income in most homes. And that's why whenever there's any altercation, the man will say, leave my house. It is not his house. That house is for two of you, even though he built it with his own money. Because as he's going about making money, you are taking care of the home front. Because there's no way he can handle both at the same time. So once the situation degenerates to that level, the best thing would be for you to approach the court for a formal divorce. And in going for the divorce, you have the right and opportunity to ask for certain remedies. If it is a house that he built, that the court can make an order for it to be sold at the proceeds shared equally between two of you, even though you did not contribute one kobo. These are one of the remedies you can ask for. You can ask for alimony, child maintenance. These are things you can ask. But if you are strong enough for your own, generating your own income, you can decide to just get the divorce and go your way, not asking for anything. So a lot depends on what the woman wants. But women believe that once there's a divorce, the man will kick out of the house. The man is not kicking you out of the house. You are the one leaving the house by yourself. Approach the appropriate authority.
Okay.
And get what is your due. Yeah, you were saying something.
No, I wanted to say sometimes the women don't leave; they are actually kicked out. But you said they should approach you. You stated what I wanted you to state, that they should go to the authorities. Can you repeat that again, so people will not think women just carry their bag and go?
Yes, for purposes of clarity, if the matter is heading to the rocks, generally, particularly in Nigeria, the man will say, leave my house.
True.
If he says, leave my house, you tell him you are not leaving because the house is for both of you. Then when you approach the appropriate authority for remedies, that particular house, if it is a personal house, the court can make an order for the house to be sold so that you get your fair share of the proceeds. Because you are not just there as a doormat, you are there as a partner of equal status. while he was taking care of the income, you were taking care of the home front. So you are entitled to fair share of whatever both of you have in that family. But out of ignorance, you see a woman just living empty-handed, having invested so many years of her life in the home, believing that all will work out well. But if you stand up for your right, you will get adequate compensation. This is an advice. There's nothing like leave my house. No. There's nothing like leave my house. The house belongs to two of you. If he says leave my house, you tell him to leave. Let's see what he will do. If he approaches the court for a divorce, you can counterclaim. And that's the way it is done.
But for
it pains me when I heard that the man kicked the wife out. He kicked, not his girlfriend though, but that he kicked the wife out. And the woman will just go and be lamenting all over the place. That is ignorance, I would say. The woman is totally ignorant of what she can do to remedy the situation of her.
Wow.
If she doesn't know what to do, at the risk of advertising myself, come, let me guide you appropriately. All right.
That is fantastic. Barrister, thank you.
Pro bono.
Okay.
Is it pro bono? My learned colleague, pro bono. Pro bono. Is that, do you represent pro bono? That's it. That's what I'm asking. Pro bono, because that's also a pro bono. You represent somebody pro bono
when you talk about
for a divorce matter.
Yeah, when you talk about pro bono, it's just that you will not be charged professional fee. But I can tell you, provide the necessary filing fee.
Okay.
To file the documents.
That's what I mean. The filing fee is not free.
The filing
how
fee,
much is the filing fee? How much is the filing fee?
It depends on the assessment the registrar will give.
Like, give us an estimate between this and that. Is it 1 million? How much is the filing fee?
With less than 20,000, you have filed your matter. Yes. Less than 20, you have filed your matter.
Is it that
what brings the fee high is when the lawyer includes his professional fee.
No, barrister, I heard pro bono, meaning if you're doing it free of charge. But you said pro bono to pay filing fee. If it will cost people 20K, do they not have legal aids? People that do pro bono, like all this association of this, association of that. If there are, how much is money for filing? You said less than 20,000. Give me a break. I don't want to say give me a break, but let's be honest. We buy clothes. We buy shoes. We buy handbags. We buy wigs. But we don't have money to get justice. If there is someone that is ready to give a kind of pro bono, Okoto, does anyone want to say the final statement before I go? We have overstayed, because this is a wrap-up. That's why I allowed us to overstay our welcome. Madam Hope, you've unmuted. Can we hear from you? Then I wrap up and we go.
Okay. The only thing I would say in all these things is that this platform is not where we can go into the nitty-gritty of the logistics and the cost expenses that goes for divorce and everything. But what I want to say is that while we look at all these things, that the area I'm taking us back to is the training of our children. The lawyer, our barrister, the male barrister, kept saying something that I heard him say. How he was brought up, how he was trained. And that was where the difference came. He, not because he is a lawyer, no, but because of the upbringing he had, his training. That was why he knew that his, even the things, the chores, the things he could do, he wasn't doing them because he's a man. He was not secluded from doing the family chores, and he grew up with it. The difference is his upbringing, his training. And I remember in our family, we have talked about training of our boy children alongside the girl child. So in addressing this issue, because all these things, divorce, domestic, all these things, they are as a result of I talked about our unlearning what we have learned before now, which we are using to train our children. We have to unlearn, relearn the right thing, and begin to train our children with the right values and what the law has said, and begin to sing it into their ears, so that this problem we are trying to tackle, we must tackle it from the root. That is all I can tell our family members. We can only solve this problem by addressing the root cause, not even the enforcement.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And now,
from the very beginning, and that is by training our boys and our children as concerning their rights and concerning everything, because these things will also help begin to disabuse their mind from all these caging them with all this our training. This is the area we will begin to relearn. That's all I want to say.
Thank you very much. There is this very question. I know they've answered it a million times, but I'm going to ask again because, look, Chinazam, I can even answer this question, but let me leave our learned colleagues to answer it. So I will ask you, Barrister Ngozi, because you are a barrister as well. A family member, Chinazam, please just answer her straight away. I know she knows the answer. She said, is this court case, talking about divorce cases, is this court case only for those who did court marriage? No. Is it only for those who did court marriage, or is it applicable to those who did only traditional marriages? Madam, hope you can mute. I heard you cough. Is it also applicable to those who did only traditional marriage too? Because most men avoid court marriages to avoid sharing property. Barrister Ngozi, if you do a traditional marriage,
yeah, it's applicable.
Period. Of course.
Yes. Yes, it's also applicable. Yeah, it's also applicable to traditional. You have customary courts.
Period.
You go to the customary courts. That is where customary marriages are dissolution are treated.
If you don't like the decision,
go to customary courts is also applicable.
If you don't like the decision made
you don't like the decision of the custom.
Yeah, if you don't like the decision,
courts, you appeal.
Period. So yes, you can appeal. Go to any court.
You appeal.
Yeah.
Customary. Yes.
Okay. Barrister Godfrey, are you concurring as well? We know the answer. Just to make Chinazam happy, are you concurring as well?
Of course, that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
What is of course, sir? Can you tell us what it is, sir?
It is not only for those that did their so-called court marriage, that the marriage is celebrated as a living. It is not only for them. Even if you did only traditional marriage, you still have the courts available for you to seek redress in the event of any negative thing.
So when you say the courts, if like Barrister Ngozi say customary courts, if you're not happy with decision, what happens?
If you are not happy with the decision, there's still room above. You go to the customary court of appeal. There's the appellate level of the court. You go there.
You start going
Even
up.
If you can still go up. The highest court in the land is the Supreme Court.
Period. So in the long and short of it, it is applicable to those that also did traditional marriage. What she said is some men don't want to do court marriage, so they won't share property. What's your answer again? Please, in closing, what's your answer again?
That they don't want to do court marriage is going to the registry to do it. That's what they call court marriage. But even if they wedded in just the church, whether Pentecostal or the other recognized places of worship, the marriage certificate issued them are also the marriage certificates from the marriage registry. If you did the church marriage ordinarily, maybe unrecognized place of worship, the church certificate cannot guarantee you any remedy in the High Court or any such courts. The marriage is more of a traditional marriage. If you have just the church certificate for the marriage, it is more of a customary marriage.
Fantastic.
So your remedy lies in the customary court. If you have any...
So you're answering for courts and for church marriage. They asked of traditional marriage. I want you to give them an answer. I know you've answered it, but sometimes we like it to be said 10 times. So the question is, what about those that only did traditional marriage? Does the court have something to allow them to share properties?
Exactly. You go to the customary court. You go to the customary court for redress. You can get whatever you want from the customary court. And in the customary court, what is usually applied is the custom of the area where the marriage was celebrated. And if that custom is not the type the court will recognize, it will be thrown overboard.
Okay.
And the court will adopt another decision.
Okay. So if the custom of many tradition, which like Madam Hope and Barrister Ngozi have said, that will not give a woman a share in the family, the court will throw the case, the custom out and utilize the court one. Is that what you're saying?
Of course, there's what we call judicial precedents.
Yeah.
If that custom is repugnant, the court will not apply it. The court will have recourse to some precedents, like something that had been decided in the past by a senior court. The court will make use of it. Fantastic. Whereby the customary court fails to do such, the appellate court is open for you. You can move higher.
Fantastic. Now, that is all we will have tonight. Thank you very much, Barrister. In closing, our topic, if I want to remind us again, is divorce good or bad? How can I answer that question? How can I answer that? Is divorce good or bad? How will I know? Like all the speakers have spoken, you are individual, and as our faces are different, that is how our issues are different. But before I say anything about divorce, I want to say when it comes to abuse, I am no for abuse. I do not advocate for, support, or accept abuse, which is battery, sexual abuse, or physical abuse, I will say no. Some people will say emotional, psychologically, but abuse, if it is predominant in your marriage and you are keeping quiet, I think there is something wrong somewhere. I do not and will never advocate or tolerate or support any family that is condoning abuse. If people want to do that, that is, like our speakers have said, to their own detriment. I, for one, abuse, battery, torture in a marriage is nehi papa, nehiki, nehikia. I refuse and reject it with all my soul. Please secure yourself. It's not a do or die affair. You are better alive than dead in the name of marriage when it comes to abuse. Now, when it's not an abuse, I hear the speakers, they've spoken well. Some people say they want to find out why people are divorced. Some people say it depends, this and that, that and that. All marriages face one issue or the other. I have never in my life, even my parents, I know as an adult child, as a growing teenage child, I know the issues they face. Both issues about cheating in marriage, sex in marriage, financial issue, dishonesty, this and that. Yes, I saw it. What about me? What about me? Of course, as I said, please, I will say, what do you call it? I am saying remove abuse. I don't support abuse of any form, of any type, and any kind. Please don't come to me and say they are hitting me, killing me, kicking me, and what do you think? Get out of my sight. Just run for your life. Save yourself before you die. If you must divorce him, please do so and get support in case of abuse. And that also is applicable to the woman. If she is the one perpetrating such injustice. However, no marriage is free from one issue or the other. I'm saying that. But let me talk for myself. I will say that marriages from my family, close friends I've seen, and also myself, you cannot say, wow, this marriage is sugar, sweet, and cake. I've never seen such as, I've not seen. There could be, but I haven't seen. That does not mean it is a do or die affair. Some people want to say, oh, why did they leave their marriage? You are an individual. Let me repeat. Divorce marriages do not fail because of cheating, because of, oh, he's not giving me sex. They could fail and use cheating and sex for that. But let me repeat. We see a lot of things happening. Oh, this person is not giving me enough money. Oh, my partner is lying to me. Oh, I saw him with a girl. Oh, I saw my girlfriend with I saw my wife with a man. I see a lot of, it could cause one or two fracas. But I must say that marriages fail because of irredeemable disconnection. Because most times you see people resolving issues like, you're not giving me enough money. Why is that the case? They start talking about it and they settle the case. Oh, I saw you with a man. Oh, I saw you with a woman. Who is that person? I see people, they talk about it, and sometimes they could or may not settle the case. But the issue, long and short of it all, is more of irredeemable disconnection. I think that there are marriages that, like if you hear all our speakers that have spoken, you will hear that there is no time they say that their marriage was free from anything. There could be one or two things. Is it redeemable? I want to ask, is it redeemable? For instance, I caught my husband with a woman. Oh, I caught my wife with a man. Is it something you can go and settle and see how to work on your marriage? If it's not, then you are the person to make that decision. Oh, my husband is always lying on me to me. Oh, my wife can never tell me the truth. Is it what you don't want to live with? Is it something you cannot reconcile? If it's not, honestly speaking, it's not my place to tell you that. Oh, my husband, he's not giving me enough money. Oh, my wife, she's not bringing enough money to the table or giving it to me. Is it enough for you to leave the marriage for? The choice is yours. However, I've removed abuse, but I want to say a lot happens in marriage. However, when it comes to an irredeemable disconnection, when the two of you are tigers, when you cannot face to face, when there is nothing, psychology, therapy, everything has been tried and it cannot work. There is a disconnect, low love. What is connection? When you're connected to somebody, even when they cheat on you and say sorry, some people will forgive, some people will forgive, some people will not. When you are connected to somebody and they lie to you, some people will forgive, some people will not forgive. But you see, there is a connection. When you are connected to somebody and they are not doing the house chores like me, some people will say, okay, that is their, negative side. That's something they don't like to do. Some people will say, I can't stand it. We are individuals. The choice is ours. I cannot judge you that you left your wife or you left your husband because of financial issue, because they cheated on you, because they lied to you, because of or because he doesn't cook, or because she doesn't work, or because I can't. Some people divorce because they don't want. Some people will say, you see this man or you see this woman, I have fallen out of love with them. They are perfect, but not for me. That is their choice. I can't say you're a fool. They have decided that is you. I can't say, why did you divorce? Like, all this stigmatization, stereotype is because there is something we want to hold on. If I go to court, barristers are here, please unmute and say you're not telling the truth. If I go to court and say, I do not want my husband again. I don't want, he's suffocating me. He does everything, but I hate him to the extent that I can kill somebody. They won't tell me I must marry him. He's a good man. If I'm lying, please, can you unmute? I'm not saying you should divorce your husband or divorce your wife for some reconcilable issue. No, I can't say that. I'm not saying if you cannot stand this person, you must manage them. I'm not saying that. I don't even have the jurisdiction to say that. I cannot tell you who to be with and who not to be with. Yes, the society will want to tell you, look at the children, look at this and look at that. But for me, if you ask me, is divorce good or bad? Again, minus abuse. Minus abuse is divorce. Normal, issues in the family. Is it okay to divorce or not? So I will answer, I will say, number one, if there is abuse, please, it's not just divorce, it's more of a criminal offense. Please report that person for a criminal offense. You're not a punching bag. The children are not punching bag. Report the person for battery and assault, and other things can follow. Apart from that, I keep saying this because people mix everything up together. So I'm separating it. For me, I'm separating it. If there is battery in marriage, abuses, please report them for an assault, a criminal offense. This can help us reduce the rate of abuses in homes. Remember, at the end, now we are almost 3 hours. I made a projection that in 2 hours, about 10 people minimum will die in the hands of their family members. Now we're almost 3 hours, 60 minutes, and they say one in 11 minutes. So about 15 people are dead if we are to follow that projection in the hands of a family member. Do you want to be one of them? No, I don't want to. I don't want to die in the name of marriage or family. I don't want to die. Therefore, if you remove death and talking about normal issues in the marriage, the choice is yours. Is it something that is reconcilable? If yes, have you tried to reconcile it? If no, do you want to try and reconcile it? If no, what do you want? Is it something that is reconcilable? No. Do you want to attempt to see if it's reconcilable? Yes. After attempting, was it reconcilable? No. Is this something you may try to continue to reconcile? Yes. Have you tried? Is it working? No. My dear, you need to be happy. It's not a do or die affair. If you think you can reconcile, please, of course, do. If you think in normal case, you cannot reconcile, come on, it's your life. I will not be, like the barrister said, I will not be in your family to a kind of give you a shoulder to cry on. It's your life. You make the choice. Remember, I'm talking about normal homes. If it's something you can work on, please do. Please do. If it's something you can work on, we are humans. We'll always make mistakes. If it's something you cannot work on or you tried and it failed, please make sure you don't live sad for the rest of your life. Anybody that is judging you is judging themselves. If you want to live your life for people, your choice. If you want to live your life for yourself, your choice. The choice is yours. You decide. Divorce is not inherently bad in itself. It's not like inherently good, but it's not, I would say divorce, it depends if it's something, anyway, divorce is not inherently bad. It could be good for you. I repeat, and I want to withdraw the other statement I made. Divorce is not, you can't say divorce is bad. No, it's not. Oh, it depends. It doesn't. It depends on you. Oh, he's the best man on earth, but you don't want to be with him. That's your choice. He's the best woman on earth. I don't like her. Some people prefer a bad man or bad woman. I don't know what bad is, but let's say people say, oh, that man is bad or that woman is bad. They say, I want it. This woman is a godly, holy, beautiful, and I don't want them. That's your choice. So we have to close. I want to say, please, please, do not think that divorce is bad. Therefore, you die there. No, it's not. It's not. If you have domestic violence, if there are abuse in the home, please run and report them for assault. Please do. Because if you don't, you will die one day. If it's a normal home, there is no assault, and it's something that you can work on, try and work on it. If it's something you cannot work on, and there is a disconnect, irredeemable disconnect, the choice is yours. If you can't stay, you can be happy. You can divorce. It's your choice. If the society let them say whatever they want to say, it's your life. You need to live above it. It's not easy, but it has to be done. You choose. Choose. Do you want to live for people, or do you want to live for yourself? In our mind, it's always in my mind. And your destiny, not my hand, but your destiny is in your own hands, not mine. My destiny, definitely in my own hands. You decide. Good night. Have a good day. Bye-bye.